Yeah, welcome in, Cuboid, and welcome in, Gaga. Nice to see you, cuties. I have been streaming fairly little lately, and sadly, we had a bit, I guess I
Bye,
should
have a
say
great time.
it, but a bit of an oopsie with Tree Controller, since the recent Tree Controller update does not lock trees the way it shows it does, so I had a lot of very overgrown parts of my save and decided it's less work to rebuild the stuff we already built than to fix the vegetation. So sadly, you guys will have to watch me rebuild some areas we've been in already. I try to get some of the boring preparation out of the way and laid out the roads again. And I do think I actually made it a bit nicer this time.
Bye, have
But
a great time.
regardless, it's something where we'll have to redo stuff. And welcome in Maestro Kunst as well. And El Gendo, of course. Why is El Gendo not playing his Latino sound? What is happening? And how are you cuties doing today? I'm gonna jump in and start
I
playing
wish
in a
we had a
second,
cactus.
but I have to admit that this first person perspective, I have to try around with it a bit more, but I think this makes for
Some
10
Latinos
out
up
of
here.
10 UFO rights. I think
I
the
wish we
setting
had a
of where we are
cactus.
might need a bit further backwards even, but I do think this is a very cool perspective, especially for when I'm getting ready to stream or for ad breaks or something like that. So, big fan of this. I think the UFO works great. I know I said I'm gonna release this, but I'm still waiting for an update to vehicle controller because currently I am not able to choose whatever helicopter spawns in certain service buildings. That is a feature that vehicle controller already had in the past, but there has been a bug with it. So currently it's removed, and I'm waiting for that to get back in. And one of the things I have to admit in this perspective of the UFO, and thanks, Heffer, is I think while so many people are bitching about the graphic changes, and I get it when they had their slip up and messed up a bit, I love the new skybox. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it, but I think especially in a perspective like this, when you look at your build from a tad further, I think the clouds are beautiful, and I think the shading in the sky itself is more interesting and varied that it has been prior. So wholeheartedly, I think the graphic changes at least go in the right direction. I'm not saying that there is not stuff that they can tweak on and optimize a bit more in future, but that UFO is something I've done. Like this is my UFO. The mod of that is gonna be released as soon as we get the next vehicle controller update, because there is a feature in vehicle controller that I need to. Well, Honu, I'm very sorry, I cannot do that. That's exactly how I started the stream with. Why on God's earth is our camera trapped like this? I'm always confused how to get out of the first person camera. But you guys are aware that I had a bit of issues with Tree Controller. So all of the pretty Xera scraping and all of that we built, I had to throw away and we're gonna redo. I will do some heavy Xero scraping on this area, and I've even dived back in and I redid all of the roads already. I have not fully covered them yet, but I try to get most of the like very boring and tedious things out of the way. But yes, I had this nearly already built out, and we had this entirely built out, and we had a very cute scene here. All of that, sadly, I had to revert due to the tree controller changes, and we will have to dive into it again, so it's a bit unfortunate. But I don't know. I'm not gonna complain much. It happens. Errors happen. But yeah, in this case, a bit annoying for us because I did have to re-roll my save to over a month ago. So basically, we're rebuilding everything we've done in the last months. I played very little, which I guess due to this happening kind of makes me happy. But yeah, we're gonna have to rebuild a fair bit. And how are all of you cuties doing? Nice to see so many in here so quickly. And if Cuboid is still here, I heard of other people, but Q, how was your personal experience in Sweden? I hope you had a nice trip and a great time over there. Everything that us plebby non-early access people have learned about it sounded very nice, I guess. But everybody has a different perspective, and I generally appreciate your perspective, Q. So I would be interested. And welcome in, Fashion, as well. Nice to see you, cutie. You make a good question. I have no clue, Honu. And you're struggling with your game, 40. I take from the few messages. I didn't have that much time today prior to stream, so I didn't check so
I
much
am
in
the
my
owner
Discord,
here.
but I seen you post log reports. So, all right, you claim your street, Honu. I can, maybe you know what street you want already. Maybe you need me to show you around. So, let me let me know what you feel about. I have to admit also, I no. Claim Street, what you just redeemed is quite literally just you're allowed to choose any street in my build and make it yours. We rename it to whatever name you want to give that street, and it's going to be your street in my build forever. It's a bit sad that I had to redeem or reset the save because I actually did something I never do to people, Honu, and I gifted you a build. I gifted you this house that I detailed very cutely with xeroscaping because you introduced me to that, and for that I built a very cute xeroscaping house for you. But then also I had to throw all of that away, so we're gonna have to redo that. But yeah, you can choose any street in my build. I can show you different cute streets that I think are nice. Maybe you already have an idea. Maybe you want one of the roads in this hillside neighborhood where we are gonna redo our xeroscaping. We already done here before, but I guess doing everything twice is fun as well. I mean, yes, but I think, for example, I think I ripped off Const a bit. In fact, if Const remembers what districts you redeemed, 3 districts you stole off Gaga, and you redeemed many districts you stole off Gaga in the recent times. But Const, you lost most of that. I will give it back to you for free. But you know I had to reset my stream or my save, so I had to sadly also reset many of the districts from a month ago. And I think there was quite a. I know that, for example, you bought this, and I think you bought this, but you will have to tell me again. You get back everything free of charge. And Honu, of course, you also feel free to claim any or choose any street you see. And I'm gonna give it to you and name it whatever you choose. Yeah, I believe those were all yours. I agree. So I'm sorry, Gaga. I'm gonna steal those from you. I am obviously innocent. This is all evil Con's doing.
That's what she said.
But yeah, he's stolen all of those. Unlike with the streets, you cannot steal them. You cannot steal them back. The other ones. And thanks for the follow, Kleenex. That's very, very cute of you. Hold on, which one's Freedom District was the gun range? I have not streamed in so long. I need to get settled a bit for a moment. Merchandise, I think I gave you, and Einstein Campus. Okay, this. Okay, no merchandise I didn't give you. Now these are all yours again, so you stolen them back. And yeah, I think 40. Well, you still have two of them, three of them even. So you didn't lose everything. But yes, I'm gonna save right away. I have something weird happening with my save. Since I had to re-roll my saves, I have to manually adjust a number because my game refuses to automatically adjust a number for me. Since I've done that, which is slightly annoying, but whatever. And yeah, no, I guess you get stolen everything. But before everybody leaves, because it's nice how many cuties have tuned in so quickly, I guess because I've not streamed in so long, I want to show a few cute things. And one of the cute things, obviously, this is not detailed, and we're going to dive into part of this build today, but I'm sure this is an asset that none of you have seen anywhere in their game yet. Because this is the next cute Elgando asset. I had to pay Elgando 200 euros, so it gives me early access. So Elgando is clearly breaking PDX TOS. All of this is surely not made up, and he sent this to me for free. But yes, this new bank here, very cute asset that Elgando made. And I figured we're gonna dive into and make this entire area appropriate and use a lot of custom assets. This one, I think it has a few small flaws. It's not absolutely perfect. I love the vibe of this thing. I think it's very cute. I think it's a very nice little corner building. And then this one, I have not even checked if we can adjust the white. Of course, we can't. I still think this is beautiful. It is a typical corner market. Yes, the white is a bit too bright, but we can work against that with decals. And here we have a Wendy's. So yeah, this one is on PD. All of these are on PDX. The only one that is not on PDX yet is this one, the Elgando Bank, which will make a cute build around here. I want to point out that Elgando, of course, is a criminal crook in my city, and I think the bank placement is not accidental. This is going to be a very rich people hillside neighborhood. Surely it's an accident that the bank is right below the rich people neighborhood, right? And Elgeno is not trying to absolutely milk people right away when they're moving in. Surely that's not something Elgeno would do, but I think that's absolutely something Elgeno would do and is doing here. Okay, I will check bank description. I very much like that description. I will not ask questions, Elgendo, because you have been bribing the mayor of Los Vagos appropriately. So no questions asked. You're absolutely free. That you have to question the asset maker for. I am not the person that made this asset. The asset maker is in chat right now, so feel free to throw any compliments, I would rather say, because it's a very pretty bank, but compliments and shade all directed to Elgando. I mean, obviously, I already went in and deleted quite a bit of the pretty detailing work that Elgando did in his assets, just because I'm an idiot and I like to do things myself. But this is very beautiful. So I very much dig it. And something like this is also only possible because we have the cute static ploppable builder from StarQ, we could not place this the way it is, but this is just a static ploppable that we can now make of any custom asset ever. And I'm very happy about it, like wholeheartedly loving it. And as a very last thing that I also want to show off before we dive in and start properly detailing, not only has Elgendo worked on a cute asset, but maybe I myself have also worked on a cute asset. I'm gonna say one thing, and it's I don't think the scale of this is correct yet. I'm not entirely sure how big or small I want them, because for me personally, okay, Elgendo is complaining he's not getting enough showcase for his bank. What entire asset? I can plop it in the free as well because I think Elgendo has actually made some very cute detailing around it. I went ahead and deleted most of that because I don't want to have it. But I think this is generally very cute if you look at the fencing here. And then, yes, the dumpsters also make a lot of sense, right? So you're judging Elgendo because I I changed up his build for what I wanna or his asset for what I wanna do. I think like this makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I also was wondering why so many backdoors, but I guess is Elgendo's sneaky bank doing weird things. I have nothing to do with it. But yes, very cute asset. I think the style here is very cute. Like these round windows and these small details is something you see a lot. Is a fairly sterile building otherwise, but I think we have too little of those, so I very much like it. And then the one thing I've done recently, and I'm kind of proud of these because I think they turned out quite nice, is all of these pools because I hate the vanilla pools. And obviously, we have to terraform a bit, but we have these pools. And one of the things I'm very proud about with these pools is that I worked a lot with randoms and try to understand them. So you are able to plop these down. Okay, I guess on that one I mix it up, but generally they will spawn with different variations if you plop them down. Maybe I messed something up in the final export I have here, but generally you will see different kind of things in them, and I love it. I love that we finally have pools that are a bit more interesting than just the boring small little pools we had, and I made some, as you can see here, some cute little assets to go with them. We have this flamingo. s- I don't even know how to call it, but flamingo swimming pool ring. Yes, no duck. I just because you kept asking for a duck so much, I decided to not give you a duck. I gave you everything else you asked for, but no duck indeed. The last thing I have to finish up with these pools is, and I need to do a bit more tests because it seems to be a bit buggy. This is the only one that already has pool lightning, and I think it looks beautiful if you look at it in the night. It has this cute shine. There is an issue with a water shader, and this, as you can see, if we look at it in this angle, we get this weird double reflection that is happening. This is nothing I can fix. And it only happens in the nighttime, only with the lightning. It's not an issue. During the day, that does not happen. So it is a bit tricky. And yes, the water is better in vanilla because I kind of break the what I'm not using the water shader how it's intended to be used. Let's say it that way carefully. But for people, and you, I know you will understand this, so you, I can tell. But what I'm basically doing is that I'm underscaling the UVs of the water. So my water is running at 10% of the realistic scale of the water. Because if you look at the vanilla pools, for example, let's have a look at the vanilla pool just to compare. The vanilla pool looked like we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I don't know why they decided that the water has to be that way. Where the small backyard pools here. Something like this, incredibly tiny pool, and then they have this water, which I don't know who thought this water is appropriate for them. But I hate it. I always hated the water shader. I hate how little possibility it gives us, how little we can change about it. The one thing I can change about it is just underscaling the UVs, because if we put a pool of mine next to this, you guys will have a very easy time telling that my water looks different than this water. This is both the vanilla shader. I'm not using anything different. This is still the vanilla water shader because it's the only way for me to get this transparency through the water. But I just hated how wavy and rough this looks. So by scaling it a lot lower, I think I get a lot prettier water, which is basically me misusing and breaking the water shader. But I think it looks better than not misusing and breaking the water shader. So no shame, we are gonna totally break the water shader. And with that, I think I'm gonna start diving properly into playing. I'm gonna check check up, and yes, Honu, you make a lot of realistic and good takes on it, but then I do think realism is not a good benchmark for cities. You want stuff to look realistic and feel realistic, but I don't think it actually has to be realistic when you look at it. Oh, I always tape I always type guardrail in first, but for some reason Gaga called this thing safety barrier, which to me is weird. I would always call this guard barrier or guardrail, but I guess both is absolutely correct. But yes, we will have to go in and dive back in and finish up this area a bit. This already looked very finished and cute, but sadly now, thanks to us having to re-roll the save, that's not a thing anymore. And I love these cute safety barriers slash guardrails by Gaga, but they are also infuriatingly annoying to place, especially if you wanna place them curved like I want to here. So you guys will hear me get annoyed and have a rough time while putting these down, and it's probably gonna take forever. So I'm not happy that I have to redo this, but what can we do? I do want this very cute scene we built here back, because I did think it turned out very cute. So instead of complaining about it, I'm just gonna dive in and actually fix this here. Which ending do we want? I think this ending is a bit cuter. And with the pools, if anybody is interested in trying the pools in their save, the mod is pretty much perfectly ready. The only thing I need to do is the lights and make it recolorable. I am very curious about the sizing of them, because I think I personally would make them bigger than what most people can properly use them in. Because I want very big, luxurious pools, but then most people have very small backyards and properties in their build. So I think if I make them too big, it will also mean not many people can use them. So I'm trying to find a middle ground that kind of achieves the look that I want without breaking the scale for too many people. Very light one, maybe this. And welcome in, Andy. Nice to see you here. And I'm so slow on catching up on chat. What did you mean with the round circles? Oh no, you meant the pools? Oh, the bank. Okay, I'm. See, that's the problem. If I keep talking and showing things, and then afterwards I read the chat, I sometimes think is about wrong things. I guess we actually want a straight one here again, because I do want this to be deep enough for people to properly park in. Yeah, I also think it's very, to me, that is something very Southern American. I think there is a lot of architecture in that style in Southern America. So I find it very, very fitting. How is the general feeling of everybody about the new patch? Otherwise, because again, I've been busy trying to rebuild everything that broke. So I did not really look at any of the new content yet. I bought both of the DLCs and I looked at the bus depot because that's the reason why I bought the DLCs. But outside of the bus depots, I've looked at nothing yet. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I never, yes, I agree, but I never care about things they acknowledge. I don't think it's ever been a problem if a game developer messes up. I think what matters is that they communicate that they messed up and that they then go back and fix it in a timely manner. And I mean, Ice Flake's track record is a short one, so I shouldn't be too quick to judge. But at least so far, they have been doing so. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. I mean, I would also imagine that editor is probably one of the things they need quite a bit longer to actually touch and be familiar with. Because, yeah, the editor is one clunky, complicated thing. Like, that does not seem like anything they should dive in super quick before having fully understood it. And said, I got very excited yesterday when Tigon, I'm sure everybody knows Tigon from his amazing rail packs, but Tigon joined my Discord and Tigon gave us a bit of a lesson about netlanes, because he works with netlanes a lot in his rail packs, obviously. And I was very hopeful that that will include netlanes with meshes, and maybe Gaga would be able to turn his guardrails into a net lane, but for now that does not, well, maybe possible, but nobody knows how to do it, I guess. So we will have to keep placing these manually the way we're doing right here. Yeah, I know, I know. I'm never sure. I know probably some of you can hear this, some of you can't. But ads seem to run differently for different regions, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. And sometimes it shows me that you guys are in an ad break, but then it serves you guys an ad for like a second or something. And then you guys are done, or it does not show it to some people, but then to others. So I'm never sure what I should do in ad breaks. If I should just shut up, but then for people who don't have an ad break, that is kind of weird. But I also don't want anybody to feel like they're missing out on something. Do we still want to keep going straight? I think we still want to keep going straight here, actually. One more straight, and then we can go in the curve, but I should correct the straight first so we see these a bit better. What is this? Why do we have this massive gap? Because they are at different levels. That is something I'm gonna do real quick for all of them, just to have those cleaner. And then we all put this to this level, I guess. These will lose their lower part, but I don't mind that. I still think it's nicer if we line them correctly. Okay, now the ad break is finally over, or it should be at least. Again, Twitch is a bit weird with when people are in ads and when they aren't, and when it tells me you guys are, it's never fully on point. But I hope welcome back. You know, if Gaga or if Gaga is here, there is one thing, one very very small thing I'm missing in your guardrail pack, because I find it so. If I think about guardrails, I directly think about that as well, and I think I've even built it somewhere here because we can kinda misuse some of the goddamn poor frames. Sorry. But we can kind of misuse these barrels, but they are not exactly the same kind of barrel that you see in highways. But I think especially together with these guardrails in places like this, you always have some kind of crash support. I don't even know how I want to call it, but something that takes a bit of your kinetic energy if you run into it. And especially in the US, I think that's pretty much always those kind of plasticky barrels. And I think that would be an absolute great fit to your guardrails as one single small prop to have on top. Because yes, the one from in-game kinda work as well, but I'm sure you could do a lot better job than that. And are your major applications still open, Chaos? Because if not, everybody else has missed out on it. But Chaos has been searching for a new major in his city. And I figured I'm already a corrupt, crooky major in one city. I might as well ruin Chaos's city. So I applied to be considered as a major in Chaos City as well. And who knows, maybe our criminal enterprise can grow in future. It also depends, because I'm not sure. Maybe those barrels are also not a thing in France. Like, I'm not sure if that is something you. Because in Germany, they would be a lot less of a thing. You don't see those kind of barrels here much, if not at all, I would go as far. But since I'm building in an American city, for me it's just very US American. What do you mean? I get away with playing any single silly song I want to play. Is a good thing on Twitch is that in theory you're not allowed to play DMCA music, but then in practice nobody cares about it. So is why I prefer streaming on Twitch than on YouTube, because here we can listen to music that Twitch or that YouTube would immediately ban me for. And I mean, in practice, you're also not allowed to do this on Twitch, right? But then, do they enforce this? Absolutely not. So you pretty much can. But yeah, welcome in Urban and welcome in Riza. Nice to see you, cuties. Yeah. Immediately, if you do this on YouTube, you will immediately get a copyright strike from something like that. Like, but is a difference, right? YouTube enforces this properly, and nobody is gonna say that Twitch won't in future, right? I'm more surprised that they don't. I find it a bit questionable, but then I don't know. When I started with Twitch roughly a year ago, I started looking for copyright free music and thinking about how I can do this, and then every single stream I tuned into was playing Spotify. So I figured if everybody can do so, so can I. And since we've been looking at a lot of assets today so far, there actually is one asset pack I think that has been flying under a lot of people's radar that is absolutely amazing and is somebody who I never heard about. Maybe it's a known CS1 creator or I don't know, but I want to show off this pack because I find it so amazing. We need to, I don't know how to search for it, so you guys will have to give me a moment. I hope he uses something that's in the title of all of them. We should be able to find it if we filter after recently added, and it's this. Can we ESB? Okay, if we enter ESB, because there's a lot of nice props. ESB. Okay, this is the pack we're talking about. I want everybody to pay good attention because I wholeheartedly, I don't know why nobody else have been celebrating this pack and talking about it. It's not only that it's a really well-made pack with really well-made colors, it's also that there is a tons of nice props in them. And here comes the kicker. The one reason why I love this pack so much is because it does the same as many other things do. It has this typo on top here, right? And everybody else just has their typo as a normal part of their mesh. Now look what this guy does. And it's something that everybody should start doing. It's all sub-objects. Everything in his fucking... In all of these, you can go in. If you don't want this, you don't want this to be French, bam. Gone, no more French. I love it. It makes this pack so regionally free. It's something that I've been asking for forever. It's something that I have not really released much building packs yet, but I do this for all of my packs. Everything I place that I think should not always be there and should be player choice is done as sub-object. Now imagine the region packs would be made like this. Imagine all of the amazing Korean and other Asian assets we're getting would be built like this. Absolutely amazing. I really hope this becomes common practice in how people build their assets. So I wanted to show this because beside really, I also think these are very cute, right? Like small local rural fire station like this, very cute. I personally would like a bit more grunge and dirt, but then I also like stuff dirty. This is an amazing pack. This thing alone here, I always wanted something like this. I love this thing. We will use this everywhere. I actually don't know how it's called. It's wait, hold on. I can open it in a second tab and I can tell you. I will post a link. Oh, hold on. As always, when you open a link the first time, you cannot get it. I will post you guys the link. Really cool pack that I think has been very underappreciated because there is many known names and their assets get celebrated, but then I personally at least have never heard of this guy before and is great. I also love the Favela pack. I very much agree with you, Riza, but the Favela pack it's throwing issues and it has an issue with EIA. I'm just waiting for it to become more popular. Because, yes, the favela pack also amazing, also criminally underused. I was a bit confused in general with the last few weeks on PDX, because I do think the quality of assets on the mod store has gone up very noticeable. God damn, I cannot line this up appropriately. But has gone up very noticeably. But people seem to sub less and seem to be more hesitant to sub to assets. So I think there is a lot of really good new stuff that is not as appreciated as it should be. And I agree that the favela pack is one of them, but the favela pack also needs to fix the EIA issue. I also have not included it to the asset library yet for that reason. Otherwise, I would absolutely. Who is a company spy? Everybody can spy. I don't think I ever say anything that's not allowed to hear for anybody. Oh well, you mean the fake ice flakes boss? My bad, of course. How could I forget? Of course, not fake. Rizal is, of course, the real boss of Ice Flake. Anybody who says something else is clearly lying. And this, we already had all of this built out. This actually was a bit different than what I'm doing right here, right now. But I do think probably what we're doing right here, right now will be a little cuter than what we did that last time. I just want this to not even be a proper rest stop, more of a small roadside stop where you can have a picnic and take a leak and probably have a small playground for kids so they can take a break from driving in the car. But otherwise, we'll keep this fairly simple. I don't want this to be anything fancy or big, but really merrily a small little detail to make this area a bit less boring than it would otherwise be. And this is what I always say in my chat. I have so many of these floating dogs. Stark, you said this has to be me having trains that get stuck. I have been watching this outside connection forever, trying to see if I have despawning trains. I don't think I have despawning trains. Maybe I do. Is there a proper way for me to find out if I have despawning trains? Also, real quick stop. Can you guys appreciate this cute train that we now have in Los Vagos? I know it's a German train. It would not actually fit into Los Vagos super well, but we now have a maestro line in Los Vagos, and even though we are in a very wrong context for this train, I still think it looks very cute and beautiful in here. No, I think what Stark you said is that I have the floating dogs cause I get trains that are stuck. But they don't get stuck. It's gonna come back out in a few seconds. I've been trying to investigate this off stream. And I'm asking if there is any better way at looking at my outside connection to see if they're getting stuck or not. But yeah, see, back it is. And welcome in and enjoy your lurk, Ron. Thanks for tuning in, mate. But yeah, it's weird. They don't get stuck. Also very beautiful train. I finally put some effort in replacing our trains with pretty and fitting models. I very much love this one. I think it's a very cute, very simple, but kinda uniform train. So I think it works very well in our context as well. So both of these together, very cute. And we have a third train we're using for now. None of these are actually fitting US trains. So I think eventually, hopefully, we're getting a bit more fitting to it. Yes, Yes, Onu, the reason that I believe Starkey says the dogs try to float here, because the dogs, they're all floating to this outside connection. You can see it because their owners are here. And when I complained about that, Starkey says he thinks that means I have trains that get stuck in this outside connection. That's why I try to investigate if they do, but whenever I look at these outside connections, the trains don't get stuck. They go in, then they wait a little, and then they come back out. There we go. It came back out. So I don't know. I'm just trying to find out why I have so many floating dogs, because I have a lot of floating dogs. And welcome in Urban. Nice to see you, cutie. And since this is Gaga's guardrails, I need the permission of the boss himself. Gaga, are you fine with how I place your guardrails here? Am I allowed to keep it this way? I forgot to add your barrels, Elgando. I knew I forgot something when I loaded the game, but I could not figure what I forgot. But yeah, I forgot to add your barrels. Enjoy walking your doggies, and thanks for tuning in. Actually, if you come back afterwards, I have a question about your new mod. If you don't, then don't worry, I'll ask it in my Discord. But I was wondering something about your new mod. Have you finally given in, Auntie? How do I not know? How did I miss this? Are you actually a CS2 player now, Andy? If so, that gets me very excited. I mean, I know that you tried CS2, Chris. I've not been there when you streamed it, and I'm not sure if you streamed it again afterwards. But I have my spies that have told me that you have tried playing CS2 as well. So welcome in, both of you traitors to the CS1 community, jumping ship now. Or I guess with Andy, it's not confirmed yet. I just. Oh, you did give in. Okay, okay. I like it. I mean, probably you won't like it because that will mean that very soon you will not enjoy playing CS1 anymore because CS2 is objectively the better game. Come at me, all of you CS1 lovers. I said it, I won't take it back. But yeah, the time of you seeing enjoying CS1 as much is soon to be over. But I'm glad that we gain more amazing people in the CS2 community. How do we work this out that this gets kinda cute? I actually think we probably combine net lanes with decals here. I want to keep using this, but I think we're gonna go under these with net lanes as well to pronounce them a bit better. I mean, that's especially a bold statement because apparently suddenly my entire chat is filled with CS1 fans, which is not usually the case much, but yeah, probably a dangerous moment to say what I have just said. But it's fine. None of you has my address, at least not yet, so I'm not scared of you, or at least I will pretend to not be scared of you guys. Of course, you guys are all really dangerous bad boys, so in reality, I'm obviously very scared of you guys. I guess. I mean, I'm the same in other streams where I do say more than you, I guess, usually, but I often clean in the background or do Blender or do something. So in those moments, I'm also not very communicative. So I get it. We will have to blend that a bit less shitty. The question is, will we be allowed to touch this or not because we have decals everywhere? Please? Ah, why is this so finicky? Can somebody explain to me why maybe this is just me being bad at the game, but I have such big issues getting these. You guys see these? Okay, I got you. Whew. But yes, I very much struggle with that every single time. I don't know why I do, but I just accepted it that I'm bad at the game, and for me that is difficult, I guess. I mean, that does sound very scary, so I agree. I guess I should be. Is it cause the toggle for it is too small? Because I can even live with what happened here, because I can always touch it after a while. What I find even more annoying is an example like here, where I already have decals. You cannot touch any net lane here anymore. Oh, actually, here you can. Usually you can't when you have decals on top of the area. And I find it very infuriating, because then I always have to remove all of my decals just to then put them back again. I don't know, not the biggest fan. And sadly, Hornung is not here anymore, so she can't see it. But not only do we make sure that the people can go to the toilet and get some water, but we're also taking care of our doggos. So we put a doggo fountain there as well, because we're taking care of our two-legged and four-legged inhabitants. Welcome in, Poplar. How did you enjoy your time in Sweden? And how are you enjoying the new update? Both of it, I'm interested in. Is this too fancy already? Maybe. I think it's fine. I don't want this to be too fancy, but then I do want kids to be able to play a little without annoying their parents taking a break. Something like this. And I know I'm sorry, what we're doing today again is not super interesting because we built a lot of this already and we had to reset a lot of our progress due to some issues with Tree Controller. So I'm sure for people watching me a bit more, this is not super interesting because we already had this part of our build pretty much done and built out. But what can we do? Issues happen, and we're not gonna cry and complain about it. We're totally gonna cry and complain about it. But also, we were gonna just get over ourselves and rebuild it and just make it even cuter than it was before. Again, though, you don't need to ask me about placing rocks. You can be guaranteed that we'll place a lot of rocks today, of course. There is not a booty stream without placing rocks. Yep, I have not even looked at any of the new assets yet, to be honest, so I cannot really comment on that. I also been playing pretty little. Luckily, honestly, after having the tree controller issue, I'm very happy that I played so little, because I would be rebuilding even more stuff otherwise. So, kind of a good month for us to play little. See, Elgando, just because you've been looking forward to placing rocks so much, don't you worry. We're gonna place a few rocks in a moment. And I'm probably gonna be a bit jumpy back and forth, just because I have not played in so much, and there are so many things that we had done already that I want to rebuild quick, that I'm probably a little impatient in some places. Are you happy now, Elgando? We place some rocks for you. I have been streaming very little lately. I generally had fairly little time, and then I had also kind of issues with the game sometimes. And I also have developed a bit of an addiction to Blender. So the combination out of all three of those made booty streams, carefully phrased, very irregular and unreliant. I'm hoping to be a bit better again, but next weekend I'm already not in town again, so I hope I'll get to stream a bit more this week, but I'm doing great. I've been working on loads of silly small assets. The one that I am the most proud of, we will see in the next ad break. I'm overwriting a save again on accident. I always need to fix the number. But yeah, I've been working on quite a lot of assets and understanding the editor, and then I have little time to finish things up, so I've not put anything out yet, but I have multiple packs that I can basically release whenever I feel ready for it, or with some of them I'm waiting on other mods to update. But doing fine otherwise, can't complain. I'm glad. I think those garages turned out very cute out. I did two other things that are already in my game. I did more other things as well, but they are not in my game yet. The coolest one, I think, is this. And since you have seemed to not seen it, I need to show it off because I'm proud of it to Poplar for a moment. With this. And this thing actually constantly flies around our map and investigates and looks at stuff and keeps roaming. It is a police helicopter. So we have this as a police helicopter, and then we have a bigger one that is an ambulance helicopter. I love it. I managed to animate the lights. I managed to actually make it spin in circles around itself. And I think it's so cool for when an ad break is running, or I have to run to the toilet or take a quick break or something. Because then I can literally just do this, and I let you guys fly around while I'm gone, and my build showcases it itself. Because I think I'm fairly good at showing what I do while I'm detailing. I think I'm very shit at actually showcasing my build. I think I very rarely show much of my build, and I never know what to show. Now I don't have to anymore. I can just set you guys into the UFO, while I take a break and you guys can fly around by yourself. And I think that works out amazing. And this is the UFO that constantly roams. And then we have a second one. This is a bit more difficult because this one is an ambulance. So with this one, we have to go in, can go into the first person as well, whatever we deem to be nicer. But with this one, we actually have to wait for somebody in our city to fall sick. And then I think it's even cooler than the other one because it's gonna do something very cool when people will get sick. I'm gonna speed up the game real quick and hope that we don't wait too long, but I can at least take a small sip of my drink while we're waiting. I'm gonna use those for my current build. I think they fit perfectly fine into Los Vagos. They are not made for a different build. They are made for Los Vagos because this build is weird and freaky. So I don't think aliens are very much out of the norm in our build either. Come on, somebody fall sick right now so I can show Poplar how cool this UFO is. But again, this one, I think it's really cool if you're building, because every once in a while this is not flying as regular, but it's bigger and more obvious, so it's a bit of a more rare occasion. Usually you don't have to wait as long as we're waiting right now, so we're getting cucked by the game a little. Come on, game, be nice to us. Somebody fall sick right now, please. There we go, finally. Okay, I'm gonna slow the speed down, and our camera is not in a great perspective to see what we're doing, so I'm gonna jump back a bit, and I'm gonna jump up a bit so we see this a bit better. But yes, finally, I can show this one off as well. Also, all of this is something I had to redo because again, we lost a month of progress. So I had to like go and rebuild quite a lot outside of stream. Yes, and now comes the because the other one doesn't do anything. The other one stays in the air. This one actually sinks down and it goes above a person. If they're in the open, I guess these are in the house. No, is it gonna be the guy in the green clothes? I think it's the guy in the green clothes. Pay attention to him. Is not. Okay, but if it's somebody in the open, the people actually disappear into thin air and vanish, and then the UFO brings them away. I think it's really cool. And in the night, it actually turns on a spotlight on top of them. So it lowers and then it turns on a spotlight on top of a person. And then that person disappears into thin air. In the optimal case, that only happens if the person is injured outside. If it's in the house, it's not as cool. But again, I can not tell this UFO what to do. I can just use any of the prefabs we have in game already and then apply it to my UFO. And for that, I am very much satisfied with how this worked out. And for now, you guys are not bored of them, but we'll take so many UFO rides in future that you will get very, very bored of these sometime soon. And then I made another thing that hopefully for building quick today, what usually we don't, so I doubt it. But I made a pool pack, so in future you can have some actual cute pools to throw down in your backyard, or some more elegant pool like this one. And I made some nice props together with them. Yeah, I don't. I one of the reasons why I do this is because I have no clue about Blender. I never used Blender till like a few months ago, outside of very simple things for my workplace. I think there is a very wrong stigma about making assets being something super difficult. I think the right stigma about making assets should be it's very tedious and it takes a lot of time and you will need motivation and you will need to not expect to have an asset in the game tomorrow. But outside of that, I don't think it's so difficult. There is a few assets that are really difficult, but making a house or a pool is just a box, really. And I hope that me making assets can inspire other people to dive into it. Because again, I'm gonna be very straightforward about it's very tedious. If you expect to make an asset quickly, don't make an asset because that's not what's gonna happen, right? Like that is unrealistic and not something that will happen. But if you make an asset and you take your time and you want to make something simple, then I don't think that's very difficult. It's very tedious and sometimes annoying, but not very difficult. And I hope more people learn that because I think, especially in CSM, there is a very gatekeepy stigma about asset making being incredibly difficult and nobody should ever get into it because it's so difficult. I don't like that. I think that's very bad for our community. I think that turns away a lot of potential great asset makers in the future because they get turned away with something where I would say it's not true. So I'm trying to uh, fight that stigma a bit and get motivate people into just trying. I'm not saying you'll be able to make an
I
amazing
wish
asset
we had a
anytime soon,
cactus.
but to make
That's
any
cute.
asset and then eventually making it a pretty one, I think is not that difficult. And welcome in, Jelly. But yes, it is definitely tedious. So the time argument I totally see. For me, it's one of the reasons why I've been streaming so little lately, because I've been spending a lot more time at trying to learn how to make assets, and that means I have less time streaming as well. But I don't know. I think there's a big difference between telling people, hey guys, if you want to make an asset, be prepared to have frustrating and tedious moments and be annoyed of it. But yeah, it's totally doable and you should try. Over, oh, don't even try in the first place. It's so difficult and you cannot do it. I do think those two things sound very different to each other. Okay, we're missing a lot of vegetation in this area, but otherwise, this is already starting to look a little like what we had here in the past. And Poplar, you ignored or maybe purposefully ignored, but I'm not gonna let you ignore me. How was Sweden? You answered to any other of my other questions, but you dodged the Sweden question. Maybe on purpose, maybe not, but I'm just gonna keep asking about it. Because obviously I heard from other people, but I do think the experience of everybody is probably gonna be slightly different. So I'm very curious on how you feel about it. Never say sorry for missing something. I miss like every second chat message, even though there is like two people in my chat usually. I'm not a great streamer, so don't ever feel sorry for missing a single chat message if I miss 500 every stream. So that sounds like Sweden was horrible then, I guess. That it literally sounds like, yeah, like an awful experience. Is all I'm taking from that short answer. Honestly, probably having my Twitch permanently on mute is a more enjoyable way to experience it. So I cannot judge you. Oh heck, this guy added more cars. This is a pack. I have not seen this yet. This is a pack from somebody who keeps trying to make an entire Japanese car collection. And there is already been quite a few cute ones in there. This one must have been recently added, or I must have missed it. But this is also one of the Japan pack vehicles, and I like it. Maybe a tad too shiny, but I guess I just hate shiny things. God damn, I can't talk because I find most assets way too shiny in this game. And obviously, I know you're not allowed to say anything of actual content, but maybe about the atmosphere and such. How did you like the Lord and Savior Ice Flake? Obviously, as the owner of the Ice Flake fan club Discord, I have big interest in Ice Flake. Yes, I do have a car wash actually. Like not a single car wash, but we have car washes as part of some of our gas stations. Not this one. Let me see. Some of them do. I don't think this one either. Probably most of them don't. But I know that at least this in the front here should have this one totally has a car wash. And we should have a second one somewhere. Because I recall I've also built a second one somewhere. But I wholeheartedly don't recall where I built so. Well, see, Q-Boy with exactly the same response as me. I said exactly the same, and welcome back, Q. Q also did not hear my same question I asked him earlier, because I also asked him how he was liking Sweden. But I guess he also had to meet Jelly, so probably also horrible experience. I will investigate, because Chaos, I'm sure I have a second car wash somewhere, but I don't know where, and I really want to make at least for one some progress on our build today. Because again, we've been done with all of this. We're rebuilding here. Progress that we already had but lost. So especially with these, I wanna not waste forever on them. Wow, did Jelly not show off her cute dog? My cute dog, of course. But yeah, that seems hatefully motivated. I think you should have more than a mild outrage, popular. I think that's close to a hate crime that has been committed to you. So, you should not accept any of this. Oh, wow, Cuboid showing off here. I see. And how was meeting Ice Flakes? I know, again, don't break any NDA, don't tell anything you cannot tell, but maybe if you can have some rough outline or a general feeling of meeting them, I would be very interested. Because I need to know more about our Lord and Savior. Okay, we're gonna do the outside here real quick, and we're gonna detail this and this and this up, and then finally we have this corner done again. Which again, we had all of this built up. I've been losing over a month of stuff we already detailed, which I played 3 times in that month. So luckily not that much, but still like 10, 15 hours maybe that we're rebuilding. And I rebuilt maybe like 4 outside of stream already, but on the other part of it, you guys will have to suffer through the rebuilding with me. This is exactly the only viable response, Cuboid. That's exactly what I wanted to hear, and that's how that meeting should have went. So I'm very happy to hear that. If we get a cactus anytime soon, I don't know. I will not do a 24-hour stream because I don't have enough time for that. But maybe I will do a 5-hour stream, which for me already is a long one.
I wish we had a cactus.
I also wish we had a cactus. So much, in fact. And how was the feeling of it not being Colossal Order anymore? I'm not sure if you're allowed to say this. There is a question I would ask. I'm gonna ask it. If you're not allowed to answer, please don't answer. But maybe you guys are allowed to answer. Has there been many familiar faces when meeting Ice Flakes? I don't mean the creators, because obviously, yeah, there have been many familiar faces. But when meeting Ice Flakes, have there also been familiar faces to you guys? Well, technically, if you don't have all of your vegetation as layered as I do, then yes, because honestly, the reason why I'm rebuilding so much right now is because of a tree controller issue. Because tree controller, the H toggle on the current version of tree controller is not correctly working. And I realized that a month after, so I had a month of growing vegetation in my build. And if your vegetation is as layered as mine, there is simply no easy way of fixing that. So for me, it was easier to just nuke my entire last month of progress and rebuilding everything. So yeah, rough. But yes, it's not like I want cactus everywhere. I like my vegetation that we have. I just wish I also had a cactus on top of it. But then these yellow cute flowers, I love these. I could place them all the time and everywhere. And I'm very happy how well the old vanilla vegetation works together with the new custom vegetation we're getting. I don't think I really have to adjust anything. I can just use more interesting vegetation in new areas now. But I think everything old still works fairly solid. But honestly, sounds nice. Like in general, everybody seems fairly happy with Ice Flake so far, and I will say the patches we've gotten so far also I very much liked. Beside the graphic mess up, but then that was a mess up. Again, I don't ever think it's a problem to make a mistake. If you communicate it's a mistake and go back and fix it. At least we have a developer team now that knows what a hot patch is or hot fix is, and that alone is very nice. Yeah, and it's all I always cared about, right? Like the problem why I think a lot of the community is overreacting to these kind of things now is because we've been, I don't want to say mistreated, because Colossal Order clearly has also been a nice company, but Colossal Order did not really hot patch anything or hot fix anything in a quickly manner. So whenever there was a mod introduced into the game, we knew that it's now something we will have to suffer with for multiple months. So I guess people also react a lot more sensitive to a bug in the game. But if there is a bug in the game and it gets fixed a few days later, then I'm the last person to care about it. Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks for tuning in and have a nice night. But it's the same why I told you earlier, Cons, that I don't mind the shadow flickering, because they acknowledge that as a problem, right? And they also said they're trying to figure out why it happens and then release a fix for it. And why waste time talking on something that's already gonna get fixed regardless? Didn't Sunny say he showed them your video when meeting them, or am I misremembering that? Because you took a video with very extreme shadow flickering, and I believe Sunny said he showed them that. Yeah, see? Then I'm sure it's gonna get better. Yeah, of course they need time. Like I understand. For me, it's already a good sign that they show that they are fixing these things, right? Because one of the things I think Colossal Order has actually put in out a very solid foundation. I often notice this when using the asset editor, and I hate the asset editor with passion. So take everything good I say about the editor with a grain of salt, because I have 100 bad things to say as well. But the asset editor is very powerful. There is a few systems in the editor that are very well thought through and really impressed me when I dived into them the first time. The way they allow you to adjust things and randomize things, and some of their the system of their animation curves, all of that is deeply impressive, very well made, but it's all unfinished and it's all unpolished. And I think Colossal Order was too occupied with chasing the perfect solution to everything while forgetting that there already is many players currently playing their game, and that there also is some things that need to get touched up in a timely manner cause people are suffering from having to deal with them while playing. And my first impression about Ice Flakes is that they and again, all of this is so new. It's just me guessing around, but the little feeling I have is that they're a lot more responsive and a lot more realistic in a sense of knowing that some things have to get fixed in a timely manner because people are playing the game. And I think that's a great change. That alone really makes the development already nicer to watch from a player perspective. But of course, they also did not fix the thing I check after every single patch because it's such a small but easy to fix issue. And every single time we have a patch into our game, I do the first thing and I jump over here and I look at this mesh and I check if it still looks as shitty as broken as it does every single time. And it does. I reported this every single patch and it is never gonna get fixed, I feel like. And this one, for example, annoys me so much because this should be a fix of 1 minute, maybe. So I really hope that they get to revisit that. And since I have not taken a break today yet, and I see that there is an ad break coming in roughly 10 seconds, I will send you guys on a cute UFO ride while I go have a quick leak and grab something to drink, and then I'll be back with you. But first, whoops, this is not where I want to send you guys. Gonna throw you in the UFO quick, and then I should be back with you as soon as the ad break is over, roughly. So, see all of you cutie people in 3 minutes, and I hope the UFO flies you to interesting places so you guys get to look at something nice. Otherwise, I'm not to blame. This is not my doing. But yeah, I hope you guys have a nice UFO ride, and I'll be back with you in a little. And have an absolutely wonderful good night, Poplar. Thanks for tuning in. And with that, see you guys in 3 minutes. Bye bye. Alright, I'm back, cuties. I'm curious, you're based in the US, Honor, right? Because I don't think gambling ads in Germany, for example, are legal. Or some of them are, but they're highly regulated and is not that easy to run gambling ads anywhere. I'm sure that is the case in many other European countries as well. I think the EU in general is a lot more strict with regulating gambling than the US is. And welcome in, Graham. Nice to see you, cutie. And I'm curious because you all say the chain fence. I have not really paid attention to it, and it still does not look great, but it does look a bit better, doesn't it? I think it looked even worse in the last patch. Is that just me? I think it's gotten a little better. Maybe just my wishful thinking, but I don't know. I do feel like it's gotten a little better. Maybe I'm incorrect on that as well, though. Who knows? And Gray, I have to make you a good big compliment if you're still here. I very much enjoyed your tunnel tutorial. And I say that as somebody who never watches any cities tutorials and finds them very boring, because I think most are so basic that I don't really have any need for those. But then with tunnels, I have always struggled personally, and your video on those have been great. Like wholeheartedly really helpful and great, and I had no idea about the slope thingy. I guess Poplar already left, but I know that you said in your video that Poplar taught this to you. So I guess the thanks goes to both you as well as Poplar. But if anybody has not seen it and is wondering what I'm talking about, I did post it in my Discord. But Gray made a very cute tutorial about how to build tunnels that don't suck in this game, and surprisingly, that is fairly difficult in Cities Skylines. But with Gray's tutorial and I guess Poplar's insight on tunnel building, that is a lot more doable than it would have been without. Oh, I'm I'm very sorry that I said goodbye to you, and I'm also sorry that I did not say goodnight to Chaos, because I wished you a good night, because I thought you're leaving. But I did not say goodnight to Chaos, because I did not get that he is staying. My bad. Okay. Then that's entirely on me. I mixed that up the wrong way around. But yeah, great video with I guess your knowledge and Gray's great way to then put it into video and explain it. Like really cool. I did not know that helps. I had a few things that I learned by myself that helped me to make tunnels a bit less shittier. But I never knew that the slope is so helpful. And after having seen it in Gray's video, yeah, that is an absolute game changer to just throw down the slope as a first thing and then go from there. I mean, Poplar, unlike all of us other plebs here, has been invited to Sweden, so I think the man already has advantage in popularity over me or you, Riz. Sorry, I forgot. You're the boss of Ice Flakes, of course. Only over me, you clearly are already very known as well. I did play to apply to that creator thing, but now comes the big but. I did so very half-assed, and not only because I'm a lazy bitch, also because I'm a very lazy bitch. But the bigger part is that I'm not sure I wanna be in there. I really like guessing and thinking what might happen to the game and speculating about how the devs are and stuff like that. And as soon as I get early access, I lose all of that and I'm not allowed to say anything anymore. I do think probably because I use the editor a lot and I generally do stuff for the game, I know quite a bit about the game and my feedback would probably be helpful. So I did regardless, but I'm not sure I would actually like to be in early access. Cause I just love speculating. I find it very fun to spend a lot of time in my streams talking about stuff that might or might not happen to our game in future. And then again, I just lose that immediately with the early access. I don't think I don't think anybody who gets invited should have imposter syndrome. I talked about this in a stream a while ago. I'm sure some of you people have heard of imperators throwing a bit of shade at other creators for not having been invited, and is a very simple answer to that. Nobody chooses to get invited or not. If you get invited, you should be honored and happy about it, and obviously take the opportunity because you've been offered an amazing one. But how can you blame anybody for getting invited, even if in your eyes they don't deserve it, which seems a bit jealous and sad to me, but sure, even if you think that way, I still think it's idiotic to put it on the person that got invited, because clearly they are not deciding if they get invited or not. So I think you should not feel that way at all. Do I understand it? Obviously I do. If I would ever get invited to something like that, I would also feel like I don't belong. So I very much get it and I wouldn't be any different, but do I think you should feel that way? Absolutely not, Poplar. Hey mate, welcome in and nice to see you. CS2 is going good today, but we're spending time to rebuild everything we already built in the last months because we had an issue with tree controller. So today going very well. In general, CS2 has been not been very friendly to me. So today I'm happy that it is a bit more friendly to me than it has been in the last weeks. So no complaints today, a lot of compliance otherwise. Yep, I agree. I honestly I said this a lot on my last stream, or I in my last stream I actually did not see the video yet, so I think my opinion on it was a bit wrong because I didn't fully know what was going on yet. But I just found it. I can understand all of his frustration. I can understand all of his venting about him having or should have been one of the people who were invited because yes, his reach is very big for a city's YouTuber, but I just found it so unreasonable to throw any shade at any other creator that I think everything else he said already was completely irrelevant. Especially because he himself pointed out why he did not get invited, and is a very easy answer. and that he basically said, I hate Cities Skylines, I don't want to be a creator for this game anymore. And then never made any content on it again. So, how do you then, after having said that, go out and throw shade at other people who done nothing to deserve getting thrown shade at? I understand if you throw shade at the people who invited, because, yeah, maybe they should have decided different, but how you blame any creator for having been invited is entirely beyond me. And I need to catch up on chat real quick because I know that Honu said something interesting earlier that I kinda overread. So give me one moment. Mm, yeah, gambling can be really, really rough, and I agree that gambling ads are disgusting. I did not know that Twitch has gambling ads, to be honest, because in the EU, or at least in Germany, it does not have gambling ads, but yeah, here it does. And something else I missed? Yes, Elgeno, that's a recycling place. This is by Gruni as well. It's a very cute Grunny asset. I always wanted to use this properly. I think it's a really cute asset. I never knew where to use it properly. But this entire area of our build is kinda turning into a Grunny or in honor of Granny build, because you can even see here in a moment. We have this, which is Granny Valley, where we have this recycling center, and is Granny Valley, and then right next to it we have Granny Hillside, where we're using his amazing French pack. So the combination out of these two, I think, is a very fitting Gruni homage, or however you would call that in English appropriately. Obviously, Jelly, if I get an answer, and no worries for jumping in and out, also sorry for me being so bad at catching all chat messages and having to go back. But I would obviously be totally happy if I get an invite on joining the creator program, then that would be an honor to me, and I'd be happy to get in. But I would also feel a bit sad about not being able to speculate as much anymore, I guess, because I do really enjoy that. But at that moment, I would just be like Sunny and just tease people with knowledge I might or might not have, and I just get my enjoyment
That's
that way.
cute.
And a person who threw shade, because both Shan as well as Riza is asking Imperators threw shade. But yeah, you guys cannot see anymore because he indeed removed that part of his video. So again, I also don't want to point out, like, make Imperator too bad here, because I understand his frustration. I do think it's a bit of a mess up to not invite him, even though he's not as interested in cities anymore. So all of that very reasonable, and I like Imperator as a creator. I think he's a great builder, and I generally like his humor and his takes on stuff. So please don't go out and be mean to anybody. It's not like he's done something horrible. I think his emotions probably gotten a bit, yeah, too much to him, so he ended up venting his frustration in a bit of an elegant way and putting blame on other creators, which I think is incorrect, but then I understand being tilted and hitting in the wrong direction sometimes as well. I don't think that is horrible. But yeah, of course, I would say yes. Like, if they offer me to get into the creator, I would be super honored. And I would also, like, I do think I probably have very interesting input, especially on the editor, because I spend a lot of time in the editor dealing with annoying things. And I do play the game a lot, and I guess a lot of this is fairly close to what I do in my day job. So I guess I also have some knowledge about these things. So, yes, I would totally join and I would feel honored, but I would also feel a little sad about being able to guess less about what's going on with the game. But otherwise, of course. Well, not only, yes, I enjoy the suspense, but it's not only that. I also actually think it's fun content. I actually think it's nice content to guesstimate around with people. Like, not as in I care a lot that my content is super interesting, but I enjoy it. It's fun for me to sit here with you guys and guess about what might happen to the game in future and what might not. So I would very much miss that as well. That is very cute, John. I take that as a big compliment. I'm still annoyed because I already. You have to imagine all of this has been perfectly built out, and now all of what I'm doing right now is rebuilding things that I already built, and then I had this entire part of this hillside built out as well. So I'm slightly tilted today, but outside of that, thank you. Very cute compliment. I just wish I would have not have to build everything twice. This we want gone because it has that ugly. Oh, it's a sub thingy, but it has that ugly base. I hate that base. So I always delete everything where that's visible. No, no, no. He even complained about not having been invited. And I do understand that he's annoyed about that. He said that he has not been invited in the past to the meetup that was in Berlin. I didn't even know that that was in Berlin, but there must have been one event by PDX in Berlin, and he is German, right? So to get him to Berlin would have been very easy. But no, he specifically complained about never having been invited, neither in the past nor nowadays. And yeah, I do think he's a very big and important creator for the community. So again, I get all of his frustration and complaining. The only reason why I don't agree with him is because he's thrown shade at people, and that is not okay. And welcome in, Slayer. Nice to see you, mate. I do watch your stream sometimes, so big honor to have you in here as well. Nice to see you, mate. I guess you're one of the people who used to very much enjoy cities, but kinda turned its back to it. At least that's what it feels like from the outside. I might be wrong on this. I appreciate it. I think we're building something fairly boring today, so I don't think this is too interesting, but generally, I'm trying. If you want, I can gladly give you a bit of a tour of our build, because I do think our build is fairly cute in general. By now, it took me over a year to be able to say it's kinda cute. I mean, I get that. As somebody who would say this is probably my favorite game, and I play pretty much nothing outside of cities. There is very many things very wrong with this game, so I get any frustration about it. Do I think that there is a game that I enjoy as much as cities? I sadly don't. Would I wish that there is a game that is better than Cities? Absolutely. Because there is a lot of things that they're not doing too great, but I don't know. I'm still having a blast. Like every time I play this game, I very much have a lot of fun, so I cannot complain. I mean, we do have aliens. We don't yet have the facility, but we will build some. Eventually, I will build an area 69 over here, because obviously my humor is like a 3-year-old, but I want an area 51. And then we have this, which I guess both of our UFOs are flying around right now. But yes, obviously we need to build these lovely people here. A proper base in our city, because yeah, these cute aliens that terrorize Los Vagos definitely need to be held in check somehow. Why do you say that, Sean? I have a lot of people in my chat usually that very much enjoy playing Cities 1 on console. I never liked Cities 1 because I never liked building roads in Cities 1. And I think a city builder where building roads is not fun, is a bit like a racing game where everything is great beside the racing, is not for me because I have to build roads too much. But I loved Cities 2 the moment I've gotten it. But in all fairness, I've also gotten Cities 2 like a year or something after it was out already. And I think a lot of the earlier problems that people were plagued by playing Cities 2 were already kind of fixed, or at least have gotten a bit better than at the start. After I've seen some of the videos of the early times of CS2, I very much understand that nobody would be too fond of playing that. I guess so, maybe. The truth is, Popular, I think in general I should really do more YouTube because I know how to cut, right? I'm a graphic designer. Like, I know how to make proper videos, but I already don't have enough time to play the game as much as I want, so I struggle doing more things. The same goes for making assets and all of that. So for now, at least, YouTube is a one thing where I decided I just don't have time for it. Maybe if I stop making assets in future, then I can start making YouTube. But yes, for me, it's purely a time constraint. Otherwise, I would love diving into YouTube a little. And this area is at least starting to take some shape again. There are definitely some things I want to fix up in a moment, but I don't want to forget about a build that I already started here before we had to rebuild stuff. And I don't want to forget about that build I did here. So before I forget it, we will start out and build a very basic version of it back in here. And for that very basic version of what scene we're doing here, we will need to find this. Perfect. Cause you guys will probably be a bit confused, maybe not with what I'm doing here at the start, but it will all make sense in a moment. At least I hope it will. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for tuning in, Poplar. Nice talking and have a nice evening with the little one. And if Slayer or Slay, I never know. I always thought you were called Slayer, but I see everybody is referring to you as Slay, so I guess I'm just butchering your name like an idiot. But if you're still here and you want a small tour of the city, gladly just holler at me and I'll do so. I'm not great at giving city tours. I never know what to show, but I can try. Okay, these we can fix up in a moment. Okay, okay. All right, don't worry. But I guess you get an idea of what I'm doing anyways. I'm building this weird like rednecky kinda desert hellscape where I guess other people would say I'm playing overly detailed. I don't know. For me, I think this is the exact right level of detail. I love detailing this game. So, well, it is a hellscape. I mean, I guess it's very obvious by my thick accent that I'm not US American. A lot of this is me making fun of the US. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. I love doing holidays in the US. I have friends in the US. But God, are many things about your country idiotic. So let's say I enjoy poking fun of the at many of those things, and I think a lot of that is what this build is really is a parody of the idiotic pop cultural and idiotic sides of the US. So I don't know. I'm trying to build a lot of silly things. I spend a lot of time in my life in the US as well. It's partly why we're building this build, because I have so many amazing, far faded childhood memories of Arizona and Utah and in general many areas of the US, because I spend a lot of time in my life in the US. So I love many parts of the US. I also think there is many parts of the US that deserve getting made fun of them. So I'm gonna do both of it. Aaron, Cuboid, and Jelly just queue together. And I have no idea of how exactly I want to do this, so bear with me. This might take me a moment to get somewhat appropriate, but we're gonna have to learn and try together. Here, I guess we gonna trick around a bit, so this makes more sense. We're gonna take a boulder. Actually, this form of this boulder is perfect for what I want to do. We put it somewhere here, I guess. Bear with me, again, this is gonna take me a moment to get this to not look entirely silly. But I guess you guys can tell already what I'm trying to make out of this. I just think everything in our in the entirety of Los Vagos, I'm always trying to add some small interesting scenes, and I think this build eventually is going to be very cute, but it won't tell too much interesting story. So I do think we need something here that adds a bit of story and joke into this area of the map. And this is a small try
Bye,
at
have a
doing
great
so.
time.
Okay, Honund, let's go slow. This is from EDT. This is from Extra Detailing Tools. And yeah, no worries, Sean. Have an absolutely nice evening. And same goes for Elgando. Both of you have an absolutely nice evening and enjoy your time. But what this does is EDT. And what EDT does is it gives you the power to do what Move It can't, because Move It is an amazing mod. You can move things very quickly everywhere. So move it is way nicer for doing things quickly, but move it can only allow you to rotate in one axis, and move it can only allow you to be so accurate with things. That is where EDT comes in, because EDT gives you this thing. This left one here is literally just how you decide how much you want to adjust the value. So right now we adjust every value very little, as you can see, because we put it on 0, 1. If we put this to 5, obviously we move it a lot. But this allows you to move everything by value, step by step, very easily. And I think actually both tools work very solid together, because for most things, Move It is easier and nicer to handle, but then for some things, Move It cannot do it, but EDT is a lot more tedious and annoying to do those things with, so having the mix out of both, in my opinion, is pretty spot on. Damn it, here the terrain is not optimal, but here I cannot really put it further. We can hide this with some vegetation later. I guess can maybe go a bit further here and then lower very slightly. Something like this. Now this side is going to be a tad too low, but who cares? Bye, Algendo. Have a nice evening. Of this thing, absolutely not. I don't want this to be crashed here for a long time. Instead, we're gonna add emergency vehicles and all of that with it as well. This is far from being done. I want this to be very recent and I want this to be chaotic. For example, the first thing we're gonna do right here, and this is gonna be a lot of EDT because this is not easily doable otherwise, but we're gonna take this. Now we can go back to 1, maybe tip it a bit further, something like this. And now we're gonna move it into there. And we're gonna put down a bit more flipped cars, and we're even gonna build one of the Gaga guard barriers here, or guard rails here, and obviously if this one ran through it. And welcome in Unity as well. Nice to see you. This is kinda what I want to do. Obviously, I guess we need to adjust it a bit better. Honestly, this already fairly spot on. I think we angled it a little too much. Do we touch? No, we actually don't touch this. This is pretty spot on. We just have to move it very slightly here and maybe very slightly down. I think that works.
Bye, have a great time.
Good night, Gaga, and welcome in Kodiak. Nice to see you here, mate. So many people. I've asked the same question many times today, and I also asked you in your stream, but in case you want to talk anymore or tell us interesting, cute things about Sweden, gladly do so, Kodiak. And obviously, I hope you had as much as an amazing time as anybody else who went it. What castle building? Am I being dense? Ah, I see, I see. Now this makes sense. Honestly, whenever I watch Sims, I do think Sims is probably fairly close to the way I play Cities Skylines. Because I also really only spend time up close doing micro details, kinda like in Sims. I would probably build my own houses if I could, so. And another one of those flying dog. I don't know what is on in my game, but I have so many flying dogs in my save. It's absurd. And they all always walk in the same site. It's always flying dogs right here. I mean, it's Los Vagos. We're not going to question much over here because it's Los Vagos where things happen. Why we have those flying dogs, I don't know. I did not even notice that's a change. We place it is very differently, Kodiak. I have not zoned a single building in this build, and I've been building this build for roughly a year now. So I have not noticed. I'm curious, you as a zoner, how impactful is Platter for you? You probably play with Platter, no? I would guess. Because for me, Platter has never been really interesting because I don't plan on zoning. But then, if you zone, Platter must be such an amazing mod for you. Because really, if you zone, then it just makes you so much more powerful in your zoning and so much more flexible. Oh, you haven't tried it at all. Okay, curious. Because the people who like zoning, everybody who I talk to has been absolutely swarming about Platon. I personally have not tried it, so again, take this with a grain of salt. It's not my own take really. It's a take of people that have used it. But I think you would probably enjoy it. Yeah, you should. You should, because again, I think there is good. I think it just allows you to even zone buildings to kind of move the zoning area of them. So you're a lot more flexible in adjusting stuff afterwards, where I think that's the main advantage in zoning. Sometimes I feel like I should zone my city first and then rebuild everything manually and plop, but because the zoning is so much quicker, it gives you a proper idea fairly quick. So again, I think for you, Platter would be absolutely amazing. How many cars are on something like this? I guess 3 in the bottom and 3 in the top. So we need 3 more vehicles built around here somewhere. One here. So we definitely want some to have fallen off earlier here as well. This big SUV, very fitting for the US. And maybe one somewhere close to the trailer here as well. And then that should be fine. Am I blind? Where's the Miata? Oh, I am indeed blind. Oh, holy, the amount of like amazing people in my chat today. I cannot believe it. Dome is alive. Long time no see, Dome. We missed you. Nice to see you. How have you been doing? And interesting to see that Sunny says he does not like Platter. What is your reasoning for not liking Platter, Sunny? I have not tried it because I know it's not my cup of tea. It's not the way I play the game. But I would imagine for people who like zoning to love Platter.
Place an electricity box.
Yeah, I also cannot believe it. Dome is alive, indeed. See, Kodiak with the same reaction as me. As you can see, Dome, we all miss you and are pleasantly surprised you're back here. And I'm gonna place an electricity box. That's not something I have to get told twice.
I wish we had a cactus.
Yeah, no, I guess it would not make it faster, but then it would allow you to go back and adjust things more
I
easily
wish we had a
afterwards.
cactus.
At least to my understanding, the big strength of Platter is that
I wish we had a
you
cactus.
can easily adjust it to a road width or something without losing all of your buildings. This voice is a very shitty AI
I
generated
wish we
voice
had
because
a
I don't
cactus.
know anything about Twitch and I'm a boomer, so I figured what is more fitting than shitty AI generated voice that sounds like a tech support. But I guess I should eventually put proper sounds on here. I mean,
I
I'm not
wish we
saying
had a
I put that
cactus.
rule up after you kept sound spamming in my chat all the time, but maybe you are the reason for that rule. But I think the reason why I also like Sprawl, but
I wish we had a cactus.
here comes my harsh opinion on why I never find zoning to be sensible. And why I never find Sprawl to be sensible in this game either. Yeah, because people keep redeeming the sound that tells that they wish they had a cactus is gonna keep happening in my chat a lot. But my opinion on building an interesting build in cities will and has always been real life is not a great inspiration for it. And that sounds silly because I'm trying to build a realistic looking city myself. What I mean with real life is a bad inspiration is a scale of real life. I think the scale of real life is boring. I don't care if I see the same boring residential house for 5 miles or for a single block. Yes, in real life, obviously, it needs the scale to function that way. But when I play cities and I build something, I always ask myself, is this gonna get more interesting if I place more of it? Does this tell more story? Does this sell more vibe? And if the answer is no, then it does not deserve to get built. Even if that means the scale in my city is super unrealistic. Nothing in Los Vagos has any sensible, logical scale. But it also removes all of the boring nonsense that I don't think transports anything. So that's why I've never been interested in zoning, because I agree, obviously, it saves a lot of time, and I do think in. I mean, I agree with that, and likewise, honestly, solid joke. But I do really mean it. Like, scale in cities is also overrated. Not only my scale for calling me a fatso. You know, how do we get this to be a bit more believable? I guess first things first, get some vibe in here. So we need something like this. I heard so much about this. You guys need to explain this to me. The zone mixer, as somebody who does not really have any CS1 experience, especially never having modded, what does C mixer exactly do? Because I've been hearing that a lot from people, but I don't know what that mod does. But yes, good night, Jelly. Thanks for tuning in, and sleep tight. Maybe even a strong one in the middle somewhere. I mean, look at anything in the game. If you want to actually have a conversation about scale, I think the best thing you can do and is look at brick scale. Because if you look at brick scale in this game, some of them are reasonable, fairly reasonable brick scale. Then you go over to the next building and suddenly you have a brick size of this already absolutely absurd, way too big for a realistic brick. And we're just going to random buildings. Like, I'm not choosing anything proper pre-made to this. But when I was starting to make custom stuff for this game, and I was trying to understand what size a brick in this game has to be to make logical sense, my conclusion really quickly was there is no reasonable scale or sense for this, because scale in this game is completely unreasonable, so I could not find a consistent reasonable value in something like this. And there is just thousand other examples, like door sizes in this game completely inconsistent and unsensible. Really, scale in this game has been cancelled by the developer. So this I actually hear with interest. So you could make your own theme. You could download packs of PDX and then put them all into your own zoning type. And then work with that zoning type, is what I understand. When you say texture, could you change the texture of stuff in CS1? Because that is not something we can do in CS2, I believe. Curious. Honestly, powerful. Very powerful. Also, I also always have to take this with a bit of caveat, because one of the reasons why this is not possible in CS2 is just that our buildings have more than 2 pixels, so manipulating our level of detail is a lot more difficult than manipulating the a lot lower level of detail on CS1. But yeah, still, that's really, really cool. Oh, of road. Okay, the roads. I did not know that. I'm very jealous of that. I wish we had a way to adjust roads. I mean, we do, but only by manually going over it with surfaces or decals or net lanes. So not really. Okay, yeah, honestly, that is something I wish we would have as well. The other mod, whenever I watch anybody play CS1 that I want, is your. I will get the name wrong, but the one to make the line markings in the roads. God damn, is that a cool mod? And holy heck, do I wish we would have a similar mod for CS2. Yes, intersection marking tool. That's exactly the one I was talking about. I've seen multiple people use that in while playing CS1, and goddamn, is that an amazing mod. If you wonder why I place these as word as I do here, it's because we're gonna flip those over in a moment. Here, I guess we can start having an actual guardrail again. And then we can end it already. It's not like we have this here for the safety of our citizens. We don't care about the safety of our citizens. We just need to build a cute scene. Yeah, I can always also never, like, if you have CS1 questions, I'm the wrong person to answer them. I played that game very little. But there is many good and experienced CS1 players in my chat right now, so I'm sure those can answer. I've seen procedural objects as well. I literally had normies give me a very long tour and introductions to how procedural objects in CS1 worked. And yeah, goddamn, what an absolutely amazing and powerful mod. And Kodiak, obviously, with what you just said, you have an absolutely wonderful evening and enjoy your beer stay party. Drink one for us as well. If you're drinking, if you are not drinking, then obviously don't do that. This is so infuriating. See, this window is higher than this. So while I'm trying to scroll in these inputs, I'm actually scrolling the entire window as well, which does make adjusting these values pretty horrible. Why are both of these spinning in the same origin? They shouldn't. I guess I cannot angle it that way. That is fine though. I can just put a rock there. You would do that. Very much so. I mean, my Discord has been very blessed lately with interesting topic. Yang Yan has decided to, I don't know why I've been blessed with that, but that he keeps posting his travel blogs in my Discord. And Yen's travel blog is great. Like, I'm sure you guys are aware because you all met him in Sweden at the creator meetup, but he's traveling through big parts of Europe now, where most of you others are back home already. And some of the pictures he's been sending are very, very cool. Yeah, Yen has always been great, but then especially like if you would want to know what I'm talking about, I know you're in my Discord as well. Just have a look in the Google Maps and picture channel. And Yen has been putting like images of every location he was at during his trip yet, and keeps posting a picture block of them. It's very, very entertaining to watch on a stream. Okay, I will keep it in mind. I don't think I will ever get to the honor to be in a position to sword fight with Yen, but if that will ever happen, I will remember your words, Kodiak. I take from that you got deleted by Yen in a sword fight. And thank you, Onu. I always miss it. Yes, S is starting. I'm gonna send you guys on a quick UFO ride while I grab something to drink in the kitchen. I will be back with you cuties in 3 minutes when the ad break is over. But enjoy your guys' ride in the meanwhile. I'll be back in a moment. Something like this looks like a nice perspective. All right, enjoy. Actually, no, I'm gonna go into first person perspective. This is even nicer. All right, enjoy the ad break. I'll be right back in a few minutes. I'm back, cuties. Oh, well, okay. Now I see if Yen is actually doing fencing classes, and yeah, not the biggest surprise that he's gonna beat me at that. Were you aware before you agreed to battle him in a sword fight, Kodiak? Or did you find out after you gotten beaten already? Oh, well, okay. You did not. It sounded like it with what you were saying. I figured you might have had a little fencing duel. Problem is I cannot move those in. No, please let me touch it, even though there's a decal. I hate this. This is a mod caused issue, so I understand that there is no solution for this in game. I'm not blaming anybody, but God, is this annoying? Because if you have a decal like we do here, that decal is higher here. You see this 3D box. This 3D box goes above the object. It's actually higher here. So the cursor cannot realize that there is an object here because it's covered by the decal. And I wish we would get a function like here in Move It where we can filter for the cursor as well what kind of object we wanna choose. But honestly, I'm happy. Everybody sounds very, like, at least everybody who I heard from or talked about in the few videos I watched about it yet, everybody seems like they had a great time in Sweden, and also the feelings about ice flakes seem generally positive. And my Discord is quite literally called Ice Flakes Fan Club, so obviously I like the sound of that. And that's not a new thing. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. My Discord has been called Ice Flakes Fan Club for the last, I don't know, 3, 4 months. The day we got an announcement, I was sold on it, while everybody else was holding a funeral for the game. And I do think this actually works somewhat well already. I think what we need is a bit of overthrown vegetation. I mean, we cannot do too much vegetation because the vegetation in this area in general is not really done yet. But to make this scene a bit more complete, we're gonna go in here and place a little vegetation here. This one we don't need, but we can just place it somewhere to save us some work later, but we only care about the higher ones for now. And mainly actual proper trees like this one. Somewhere like there, and then maybe one here and one here. And now comes the annoying part, but I guess we've done nothing else but moving values slowly over and over in that last few minutes, so you guys are not surprised about what's happening here. Welcome in Obelix, nice to see you here, mate. I know you're facing or struggling with the same issue as me with Tree Controller. We are rebuilding a lot of the things we already had built in the past because of the Tree Controller issues we were having. So nothing too exciting today. I guess this is something new I have built off stream in the past, but I also had this scene built out. So we're building it again now. Did you also re-roll in the end? Because yeah, I think for most people re-rolling safe is not worth it, because there's vegetation is easy enough to just fix it up, but for me it was a no-brainer. I don't think so. I've seen people with pretty shitty computer using procedural objects, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I don't know that much about CS1, so maybe you already know more than me. But from my understanding, you can also do very simple things with it. Yes, some of the super complex things will probably eat a lot of FPS, but I don't think everything in procedural objects was super difficult and complicated. I think the main issue, and I've said this a lot of times in the past, because I think the at least if I interpret this right, but the way many people talk about procedural objects, I think the biggest selling point for most of these people has been adjusting the shape of buildings. And as a very simple answer, that is not going to look good in CS2. And the reason is also a very simple one, and it's because our game is so much more detailed. So yes, you can take a very low resolution texture and you can transform it and morph it, and it will not look horrible because the resolution you started with already was fairly small to begin with. But we have an incredible level of detail in CS2. If you try to just change the shape of any building in this game, that will simply not look nice. So to some degree, I think the lower quality of graphics in CS1 actually allowed some possibilities that we don't really have anymore because our game looks better. So yes, of course, I have the dead tree models. Half of my build is filled of dead trees. A bit less so nowadays because we have the grass and some of the new custom vegetation that makes us use those a bit less. But in specific, I use this one as a dead model a lot because I think this makes for a very nice dry grass and we don't really have any dry things. So might as well do this right here while we're talking about it. I don't use so many of the dry trees anymore. I would like to use them more, but their LODs are so incredibly shit. And they vanish so early that I started using them a lot less. Because, yeah, really, mainly because of the LOD. Because if you take any of these 4 here and we turn them into a dead model and we place them, they look beautiful close up. I absolutely adore any of these. I would use those all the time if they would keep looking like this. Now comes the problem. Even here, we already lose a lot of them. And now they're invisible. If you use those as ground vegetation or something, they hide so early. Actually, I think it's gotten a bit better. I think this used to be even worse in the past. But yeah, for the palm tree, sadly, I think the LODs are so bad. Yeah, in general, with some of these, probably what I'm saying is not accurate anymore, because especially in the last updates, they have been toying with LODs a lot, so it's different. But you can see, Sunny, you see all of this vegetation. It's hard to still see it, right? It's not like it's super visible. It's also a shitty LOD, but up till this distance, it's still there. It's still visible, right? And now I can make the counter example here at the start. I worked loads with, I think I replaced a lot of it already, but let's see. I actually replaced most of it. This is interesting to see, but here I was working with a lot more dead vegetation still. And especially these, I think these is a model. They look great when they're dead. They disappear straight up. You see what's happening, right? You do see what is happening here. So that's the reason why I don't use them. Because I do think they look great. But also they're only visible if you're like right with them. And yes, the grass eventually also does this, but it does it a lot later than the dead trees do so. And let me catch up on chat again real quick. Can you post that video you watched about procedural objects in my Discord? Because I also know very little about CS1 and procedural objects, so I'm sure that would also be interesting for a meme. Yes, but the grass from PDX also has so little trees to begin with, because it's made with sprites, that I don't think it matters on that. Like this grass, even the high trees version, has less trees than the LODs of most vanilla plants. So yeah, I know having LODs is important, especially the way Unity works. Like LODs are really powerful, but it really matters as well, right? And with something like this grass, the truth is even this having no LOD is going to give me better performance than any of the vanilla vegetation with LODs, because they are incredibly wasteful in trees. Like, I can still not believe it, but it's always going to anger me. Park light, how are they called? There is some of the lights they added. The amount of trees these are using, there is even worse offenders, and it's the newly added ones. I don't think they're in the right. They're not in the right thingy here. Let's try if Lightpole finds all of them. I doubt it. But as I do assets myself, this for me is a big topic because I cannot find the worst offenders right now, sadly, because I don't know how they're called. But some of these lights, of the newer ones we've gotten, some of these have over 20k trees. That is absurd. I can make entire packs that don't need that, right? And that's not a problem. You can even have 100k trees on something. If it's a signature building, you use a single time and you have good LODs for it, right? Like, trees count always really has to be viewed in context and not just by itself. But don't ever take vanilla assets in this game as a benchmark for how to make assets, because Cities 2 is probably the only game where you will gain performance from using custom assets over vanilla assets, because many of the vanilla assets are so horribly optimized that even if you use a shitty custom asset without LODs, it's probably not going to be any worse for your performance. It depends. The worst FPS killer, yes, Toby. We can literally look at that by themselves. The boulders are fine. The rocks are also fine in a certain margin, but the small rock, this rock you see here, it indeed one of the worst FPS killers in game. And you can see it happening already because we're getting close to it. You can see here we have a lot of these small rocks. My FPS are fine. We're still looking at the LOD2 from this. As soon as I zoom in and we're looking at the LOD1, my computer is gonna shit itself and I'm gonna lose roughly 10 FPS. I am at 11 FPS now. I was at 25 prior to zooming in. So, yes, these rocks are absolutely horrific. And it's crazy because especially this rock is probably the most spammed, commonly used asset out of all assets. I don't know why they think it's fine to have these ads bad optimized as they are, but yes, very correct. They are absolutely horrible. And I agree. I also hope Iceflake will revisit some of the LODs, but they have been playing with them. Like literally any single of the recent updates, the LODs have slightly changed. On some things, definitely to the better. On other things, sadly, definitely to the worse. Sims, for example, look way worse than they looked just a few updates ago. Yeah, good night, Urban. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will probably follow your lead because it's getting kinda late-ish and stop the stream in half an hour or an hour. I don't know. I don't have to get up too early tomorrow, so maybe we'll play a bit longer today. I have not streamed in a long time. And let's check what Obelix is asking. Sorry, I'm so shit at building and reading chat at the same time, so I always miss stuff. The boulders are not that bad. It's the small rocks that are so bad. You can, with all of these, you can any mesh in the game. You can investigate how much words they have in the editor. In fact, I asked StarQ if maybe he can make a very simple mod to display the word values of stuff in game, and he said maybe he has little time right now, but he's gonna have a look if it's doable easy. Yes, he will give us a mod like that. And it would be amazing because I test so many assets. You guys know that in my Discord, at least my regular viewers know that I put a lot of effort into having an asset catalog in my Discord where I try to curate only fairly well made assets. So I spend a lot of time looking at assets and I would absolutely adore a mod like that. And it is possible because the editor can display all of that, right? That mod quite literally just has to pull already existing inputs and display them. So I hope that is something we're getting sometime soon if Starkey has enough time. What do you mean in regard to what, Toby? The the Sims? Oh, the shadows. Sorry, yeah, I was reading from the top to the bottom. Yeah, I agree. I do. I mean, they also fucked up the shadows to some degree because especially low shadows currently are broken. And I do think that low shadows in this game has always looked better than shadows on high. So I would like to go back to low shadows. I'm currently playing on high shadows because the recent update kind of broke low shadows. But otherwise, yes, I think all of the changes Iceflake has made so far have been fairly solid. I mean, they also have not done anything massively impactful yet, but I don't think that's what the game needs right now either. I think what the game needs most is fairly simple, basic fixes. So I very much love what they're doing so far. Big fan, honestly. Yeah, I know. I have those bound cause of the editor, because in the editor, Move It only accepts the alternative keybinds for elevation changes as well. So I've gotten quite used to using them as well. Yeah, that's exactly what I used to do in the past, but a bit of a caveat. I've done a lot of testing on this. I would argue it's a style question as well, Toby, because low quality shadows are softer. And I, in general, think that the shadows in this game, in most scenarios, are too harsh. So I would actually argue, in my own personal taste, literally everything on low looks the very best. But yes, terrain shadows are the cause of most of the bugs, though also that is not entirely true. Some of the bugs are also caused by, at least in the past, high quality shadows. I guess that is probably not the case anymore, but there was a very few shadow bugs that were happening as well that were not only terrain related. I have never changed any of the settings in sunglasses, Sanim. I love sunglasses, you know so as well. But I have never, in general, but I do think a lot of it is due to the very nice climate of my map. I have never felt as much need to tweak the graphics in this game as most people, which partly is due to me hating Lumina. And don't tell Nyoko, I very much like Nyoko, and he's in my Discord, and we talk regularly. But Nyoko himself knows that I'm an outspoken Lumina hater. But yes, I think you are probably the one person that has made sunglasses very popular. Because I know that I also gotten quite a bit of people to use sunglasses, but you were the original reason why I started using sunglasses as well, Sunny. Because you told me to try sunglasses. And I was like, alright, might as well. And it's super subtle. I don't think anybody should install sunglasses and expect their game to suddenly look massively different, because that's not what's gonna happen. But it's subtle, nice changes that make the lightning a bit better, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe that's fair. I have not really. I play the game so little lately that I've not really gotten to check out much of that. I've really been mainly in the editor. I use sunglasses and preserve photo mode. I still think preserve photo mode is way nicer than Lumina. Lumina has always been both fairly buggy to me, as well as that I despise the UI of Lumina. And I know that Nyoko knows this, and Nyoko also does not like the UI. So I'm sure that Lumina is gonna maybe get a nice update in future, and then I'm not gonna be such a hater anymore. But for now, I'm an outspoken Lumina hater. I highly recommend sunglasses for the game. It always shows since versions now that it's not supported and not fitting the game version. But that's just a warning, right? Like, that never means a mod has to be broken. That might perfectly mean that the mod will break in future on an update, but it's been fine since I'm using it. Yeah, I don't know. Lumina, I think it's gotten a lot better as well. And in all fairness, I've not revisited it in a long time. But especially when making assets, Lumina has always caused issues for me while building mods. And I was so fed up by it eventually that I just yeeted it out of the game and never missed it. In general, like, my game is completely vanilla. Like, everything you're seeing here visually right now I have nothing adjusted. The only thing I tend to adjust when I want my game to look especially cute is this, because I think Los Vagos looks the prettiest in this very heavily shadowed morning light, because I think then you understand the depth of my build the best, because it is very terrainy, but due to the desert theme, it looks a lot flatter than it is. But this is all the adjustment I do. Everything else is on default, and I don't really need any graphics adjustment beside adjusting the light. I do think the game looks beautiful. In my opinion. Sure, there are things that could be optimized and better, but I've always been so satisfied that I never really felt the need to dig with Lumina. Because the truth is, Lumina is only really powerful if you then never change your time, your lightning, your. Because as soon as you adjust anything, you also kind of need to go back and tune your Lumina settings a bit more, and I've always found it very inconsistent. So, for that reason, I generally just play with the game in vanilla. And loads of people tell me my game looks very pretty. Please tell me your settings. And I tell them I use sunglasses, everything else is vanilla. So I think a lot of this is also placebo, cause people have the power to change everything. They feel like they need to change it, but in reality, I don't think they do. I also use time and weather anarchy, but only to lock my season in autumn, cause 4 is getting better. But when I started this build, we had like no no good vegetation for any of what I'm doing. There is no dry anything. In autumn, I have the best choice in vegetation. My build would look a lot shittier and greener if I put it to summer or spring. So I also do use time and anarchy, but only to perma-lock my game to autumn. I mean, it's the same guy, Toby. Like Lumina and Preserve Photo Mode is both by Nyoko. And I also don't understand. I always tell Nyoko to please just give up on Lumina and go back to Preserve Photo Mode and just give that a good update. Because yeah, I love Preserve Photo Mode. Everything it would need for me is to carry the settings across sessions, and I guess that is something Lumina can do that Preserve Photo Mode can't. But otherwise, I always prefer Preserve Photo Mode because it feels so vanilla. It is such a smoothly integrated part of the game. Meanwhile, Lumina looks like it does not really belong in cities. Yeah, I mean, I also have very light test saves, but my main playset is. I shouldn't even say the number. I was a bit shocked when I seen it in Skype today. I am currently using 444 mods, which by itself is a pretty good statement about how the game has gotten better. Because, yeah, does the game run very well on my computer? Absolutely not. But is my computer also really shit? Absolutely. And still, I can manage to stream fine enough in a way over modded, over detailed save that's at least partly using not perfectly made assets. I used to use no vehicle despawn, but I've given up on it. My traffic, since I put a lot of effort into making traffic in Los Vagos as shit as possible, right? because I will always have to point this out. The entire traffic in Los Vagos funnels in here, right? Anybody who knows anything about traffic planning will die because don't do anything like I'm doing it. I'm trying to bottleneck my traffic as much as I can so it gets chaotic and looks a bit crazy. This intersection here probably is the best example because oh my god, what an
Bye,
absolute
have a great time.
chaotic something this is. But I don't know. I cannot live with vehicle despawn because if I have one accident on this street and I don't have vehicles despawn, then my city will collapse. And have an absolutely wonderful good night, Sunny. Thanks for tuning in as always. Don't you worry, you're not gonna miss much. I think I will have to head off and get to bed pretty soon as well. So it's not like there is much happening anymore. I'm gonna try to finish this so we don't have to revisit this. So we'll throw down some peoples here, and then I think I'm gonna go and see if there is somebody who we can raid out to. And I don't know because I'm out of town next weekend, and my last week has been incredibly stressful. And before last week, I also said I hope I get to stream a bit more, but I'm hoping again. I cannot promise anything, but I've been streaming very little lately. I hope that I'll manage to stream again this week before being out of town. If I actually will manage, we will have to find out during the week. Come on, behave, please go right on top. I know I can place him there because I have placed him there in the past. Okay, if the game does not want to collaborate, we don't need the game to collaborate. We just move him there ourselves. That should be fitting. Is that fitting? That is pretty perfectly fitting. I like it. All right. And then just for the sake of realism, of course, we need to give the woman's toilet here, even though it's in the middle of nowhere and there is like 3 people here. But is the law any female toilet needs to have a long line? It's just how the world works. So obviously we're gonna go by that. And then next to it we have the men's toilet where there is no line at all, but it's a single guy who just came out of it. So some added realism, I guess. With the kids, we actually have to be so much more careful placing them now, because they now have these backpacks. Some of them, at least, many of them. They didn't in the past, but now, since they have the backpack, actually need to be careful if you put it in a context like this, that you don't have the backpack ones. And Toby, if you want, you generally seem very knowledgeable about the game, and I'm not saying my Discord is full of knowledgeable people with the game, but I would say my Discord is fairly full with knowledgeable people in the game, and it's probably both one of the more serious city conversation places as well as the least serious cities Discord out of there in case you feel like joining and discussing interesting city things. Gladly do so. Also, if you like banter and silly jokes, then also probably the right place to be in. I love that we can sit people down. Is such a game changer to how something like this looks. I think this area is already pretty fine. Maybe what we need is some trash bins, cans. I never know which is the right one. Bin cities. Yeah, I think I wanna shower my own Discord with it being nice, but I think you would very much enjoy my Discord if you're very invested into CS2. And you will probably see a lot of familiar faces in there. Maybe another bin here with the toilets. And one, I guess, back here. And with that, I think I'm perfectly fine, and we're gonna go ahead and place a few people here in the cars as well, and just to give a little bit of life. Not too many, because most of these obviously are parking, and there is nobody here, but a little life at least. And then I think that does look very cute again. I'm still annoyed because again, all of this has been built like 2.5 weeks ago, but then I had issues with free controllers, so I had to redo a lot of this. And how late is it? I do think with a look at the clock, I'm gonna jump on Twitch and look or find somebody to raid you guys out to. I'm gonna send you guys on a little and last UFO ride. I hope we'll get an update to vehicle controller very soon, because I want to release this UFO, but I need a vehicle controller update to be able to properly let people use this. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit buggy for you guys. But I will do. No. The tree. Okay, then before I go and look for people who raid out, the solution is a fairly tilted one, because first things first, you have to be aware that you cannot fix your issue. You cannot go back and delete it. So everything that aged is aged and you have a problem. What I did is I literally threw away my entire last month of cities and re-roll to a save that has been prior to the last free controller update. I luckily only played 3 times. So for me, that was like 10 hours of rebuilding stuff. Not the end of the world. Yes, was I a bit tilted? Sure. Could it have been worse? Yes, absolutely. But what you want to do is either use the beta version. I would personally not use the beta version because it's not entirely fleshed out, but then you want to re-roll to the recent version. I'm not using the current version of Tree Controller right now. I'm using the last version. I believe it's from the 18th of February, so a bit over a month. And yeah, I feel with you because it's a problem. For me, the question was, will I be quicker rebuilding everything I did in the last month, or will I be quicker fixing up the entire vegetation in my build? And you guys know how much time and effort I spent into layered, complicated vegetation in Los Vagos, so that has not really been an option for me. So I needed to revert for a month. And thanks so much for the follow, Toby. Sorry that I didn't acknowledge that right away, but very much appreciated. I'm happy, and you seem to have a lot of intel, so appreciated to see you in chat and hear about your opinions as well. And also welcome in, Friedrich. Sadly, you're coming pretty much when I'm gonna end my stream, because I was gonna already look for who to rate, but then I just wanted to tell Gray real quick. Gladly ask in my Discord otherwise, Gray. If I have not answered all of your questions yet, we have talked about this extensively in my Discord, but there's a lot of messages, so probably you don't wanna go back and read all of that. But if you have any other questions, ask. Everybody in there probably is aware of the problem and how to work around it. But yes, if you played a lot in the last months and only noticed very recently, then I fear there is no great solution for you, sadly, which I wish I could tell you something else, but I would also be lying to you, so sadly, this is what you're left with, really. For me, it actually was quite nice, because I was very sad that I played so little in the entirety of the last month or something. And then I seen that I have that issue and I need to re-roll everything, so I was a lot less sad about it. Because, yeah, I only played 3 times, so rebuilding that was not too horrible. And I'm seeing is not many people playing Cities right now, sadly, which is a bit sad. There is loads of people playing other fun games. We will raid somebody who we never raided before, who's not playing Cities, but who's an absolutely genius at Planet Coaster 2. And even though I generally only watch Cities, I do very much enjoy Planet Coaster 2 because it's very similar and very inspiring to watch. So I'm gonna send you cuties over to Bobem and hope you guys are gonna have an absolutely wonderful time over there. As always, thank you guys for tuning in and spending your evening and your time with me. Very appreciated. And I hope that I will be streaming again either tomorrow or on Monday, but I have fairly little time lately, so it's sadly only an I hope. But yeah, I hope I see you guys soon, and I hope all of you cuties are having an absolutely a wonderful good night, and enjoy your time over at Bobham's. And with that, enjoy your night, cuties. Thanks so much for tuning in, and bye bye.